Okay everyone, so what's going on now is I'm going to replace the shocks on this bad boy right here, 2001 Jeep Grand Cherokee. I'm going to go ahead and start with the fronts. It's a pretty simple process actually. What you're going to do for each side is remove that one nut right there. That's the top of the shock. And then over on the other side, it's right down in there. My camera will focus. There we go. So yeah, just remove those two nuts. I'm not sure on the size, they look like they might be a 10 or a 12 millimeter. And the next thing you want to do is throw a jack underneath there, remove this wheel, or whichever side you're starting on. And then you're going to remove the two bolts right there, holding the bottom of the shock in, and then get that thing out of there. I'm going to go ahead and remove all the bolts in the wheel, and then I'll show you what I got from there. So here we go. We've got the Jeep in the air, we've got the wheel off. Actually went ahead and removed that bolt up there. It was a 14 millimeter. That came off pretty easily. Just a heads up with that, if it starts to turn, when you're trying to loosen the bolt, there's actually a flat bit right here. You can put like an adjustable wrench over that so it won't spin on you, and you'll be able to loosen that nut. I didn't have to do it. I did it before, or after jacking the car up. That may have put some pressure on it to keep it from turning, but I didn't have that issue. If you do, that's all you've got to do. So the next thing you want to do is get right underneath here, remove those two bolts. Those look like they're also probably 14 millimeters. Let's see. I'll stick a wrench on that and verify that for you real quick. Nope, it's actually smaller than 14. Huh. I apologize for my camera angle. I'm trying to hold the camera. Oh my goodness, it's less than a 13. Some small bolts holding the shocks. It's less than a 12. What in the heck? Those might be even a 10 millimeter. Okay, I've got an 11 millimeter on there, and that's gonna work. Is that an 11 millimeter or is it 10? Nope, it's a 10 millimeter. So actually, super tiny bolts there, 10 millimeter. Go ahead and pop those bad boys out, and then I'll show you how to get the shock out and your top bolt out. The way you're gonna go ahead and remove this shock, and again, I apologize for the camera angle. I'm working with one hand here. Basically, what you're gonna do is just, you may need a pry bar or something, depending on your level of strength. But you're gonna push up on this, and then once that's done, this is just gonna fall right out. Pretty easy. You've got your old shock out of the way, you're ready to install your new shock. So this is my new shock. It's the 4600 series Bilstein. It comes with all new hardware, which is good. What you want to do is slide this washer on like so. You want this little tab here to be facing upward because you're going to want to seat that right in that little hole there at the upper shock mount. It came with new bolts for the top and the bottom as well, everything new. And again, you're going to have this little sandwich bit here. Once again, you want that little nub to be facing towards that hole. Now, to install the new shock, it's pretty much just the backwards of what you just did. You insert up into there. You want to try to get that little nub seated in that hole, and then you're just going to push this up and put it in position. Since I struggled a little bit last time, I'm going to put the camera down and do that, but you get the idea. Put it up in position. Again, all I did was grab this, push it up, and seat it down. Make sure you give this a little wiggle around, make sure it's seated in that hole, and you can double check that from looking up above. Make sure it's seated. And then you're going to just take your new stuff, stick that in position. Now, this one does not have that little flat bit like the other one did, but it does have an Allen key, if my camera will focus, on the top, so that if you need to, you can use the Allen key to hold it, keep it from spinning while you put the new nut on. This new nut is a nylon lock washer, so you're going to have that issue where it's going to want to, when you get to the nylon area, it's going to want to spin, so you're going to need an Allen wrench for that. From here, just stick your bolts up through the bottom and put the nut on top. Tighten everything down to the proper torque specs, and you're ready to move on to the other side. But from here, I'm going to move on to the rear so I can show you guys what to do. If you can make it through the front, you're going to be pleasantly surprised because the rear is even easier. You just remove this one bolt here and this one bolt down here, swing it out of position, swing the new one in, bolt everything back up, and you're done. So make sure you torque everything back up to the specified torque values. Again, well, this is a 15 millimeter. This side does not come off. It seems to be welded in place, or at least it didn't come off on my Jeep. I think that was an 18 millimeter, but I didn't need to use it. Like I said, it just stayed in position. This side was a 15 millimeter, that's a 15 millimeter. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. Make sure you check out my channel for lots of other videos on how to do stuff on, I've got videos on this Jeep, my S10, my Corvette, this Honda Civic here, and stuff around the house as well. So make sure you check it out. Thank you very much for watching.